Oh my God, look at these roots. Oh my gosh, I can't believe these roots. Let's bring you home. Oh no. Listen, you do the best you can do. I'm pretty disappointed in myself. Hi everybody, welcome to my Long Island backyard. We're starting off outside of my bedroom and in the pond area because I've got some plants to bring in today. So as you know, if you've watched my other videos, I've got hundreds and hundreds of tropical plants that I'm growing here on Long Island, New York. I actually brought my parents' plants in earlier this month because I just didn't have the time to bring them all in. So that is what I want to talk about today. When do I bring my plants in? How do I bring them all in and decide what goes in first, what goes in last? Well, today I'm going to bring in my philodendrons, and let me show you why. So one thing you might notice about the pond area, it's the middle of the day, sun is shining, but there is absolutely no sunlight happening here this time of the year. A lot of the plants that I have here are shade lovers for that reason. Hi little fishies, oh, they're so cute today. And you know, some of these plants are sun lovers too, but we don't get the sun here during the fall time or the early springtime. The philodendrons are fantastic plants for a shade part of the garden. The monstera that I have here, also fantastic in the shade. And what's really cool, it's not often that you get tropical plants that like shade and low humidity, but philodendrons and monstera fit that bill. They will grow just as beautiful in California as they do in Miami, Florida. So that is the reason why I bring them in first, because it's a time thing. I want my plants to enjoy the caretaking that Mother Nature does for as long as possible. And these plants just don't need Mother Nature as a caregiver because they do so fantastic inside the house. So I don't mind bringing them in a little early. So what's a little early? Well, right now, our temperatures are still hitting the 60s every afternoon. We do have some nights that are dropping into the 40s, but that's still well beyond freezing temperatures. We haven't come anywhere close to a frost yet here on Long Island in New York. So I don't really bring in most of my plants until right before that first frost, and the reason why is because I do want them to enjoy the sunshine as much as possible. Let me show you some of those sun-loving plants, and then I'm going to tell you what else I'm doing today. So banana plants, these are not plants that like being inside the house, and anything that flowers for the most part does not like being inside the house. I'll actually cut a lot of these plants back, like my ginger. I'll just cut them back. Some of these, like the cannas and the ginger, will survive the winter out here. I'll bring in the ginger just because I feel bad for them. The hibiscus, absolutely love sun, and I'm gonna keep these out here for as long as possible to absorb some sunshine. And I even have some really nice flowers still on my midnight triced hibiscus, my bird of paradise. They love sunlight, so I don't want to bring them into the house now. If I bring them inside the house, they're not going to get the sun that they need. They're going to be prone to pests, and eventually they will be inside the house making their way through all of those challenges. But why rush the process if I don't have to? We've got some beautiful flowers much earlier than usual on my bird of paradise this year, so pretty exciting. Now, I am obviously well into starting to prepare for winter time. I've got a very dirty table filled with plants that are getting ready to go inside soon, but not quite yet. Now, these are also shade-loving plants for the most part. Bismarckia likes sunshine, but a lot of these are shade-loving plants. They just prefer higher humidity levels, so I do want to keep them in, in their current spots on the porch a little bit longer if I can, and then bring them inside. Okay, so after I'm done bringing in the philodendron and the monstera, we've got, 3 plants. They're not so big. They're just in a really awkward spot because I have to actually hop over my pond in order to get them into the house. So that's going to be an interesting challenge, but I've done it before. After I'm done with that, we're going to plant some tulips. Yeah, springtime is here. Oh my gosh, guys. I just got the whiff of the most beautiful passion flower. This is Passiflora Crassula Alto. Oh my gosh, it is so fragrant right now. The philodendrons, they're gonna go inside today. We've got cortadum over here and gloriosum. If you want an elephant ear that survives inside your house, don't plant elephant ears and put them inside your house. Alocasias, colocasias, they all do horrible inside the house. Get a philodendron. You will not be disappointed. They love being inside the house, and they'll give you that elephant ear look. Get a Monstera Thai constellation with those beautiful splotches. This was a $400 plant during the pandemic. Now you could get them practically for free. They're really, really cheap now. But before I start, I need to tell you about philodendrons and their root systems. They are so cool. This philodendron is a lot longer than it appears. It actually is a vine. Okay, I just filmed myself taking this out of the pond area for my Instagram. It is unbelievable what a root system this thing developed. I had to pry it out of the ground with all of my might. This is all brand new roots. I am just amazed. It has just the most unbelievable root system. It really is more like a vine, but that's fine because you can cut this and it'll make new shoots, and so you can really keep this as a house plant forever. But I just wanted to show you the root system on this. It is just unbelievable. The aerial roots just keep on coming and coming, and the plant knows how to prop itself upright. So you can see all of the aerial roots are actually facing one direction. It's facing toward the north side of my pond, where it's going to be able to latch on to the shrub that it was right next to. It's an awesome house plant. Let's say we bring it in and I'll show you what it looks like when it's inside the house. This plant is so beautifully perched right along the rocks of my pond. It's gonna be really hard to remove it without breaking it. So we'll see what happens, because again, philodendrons are definitely more of a vine than they are a bush. And sometimes they kind of cling on to things. So I'm worried that this is actually clinged into place, but it looks like it's moving. All right, we've got some movement. This is good. And there we go. All right, nothing broken yet. Let's see if I can make it into the house now. Oh no! Guys, I spoke too soon. Unfortunately, it has cracked. Listen, you do the best you can do. I'm pretty disappointed in myself. This broke off. I was so careful, but you know, unfortunately these things do happen. So whatever, you know, just make a cutting out of it. Literally all I have to do is just get a new pot and just put it in the container and it's gonna grow. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to just sort of leave it on my table and then just put the broken stem right in the same original pot. If it fits, I might just do that, because yeah, I could maybe see that actually working. If I just find a way to shimmy the original stem and just let it lay onto the pot, I bet you that it's gonna take hold. I'll just put some fresh soil, and there you go. I'm just gonna leave it on the table during the winter time so I can monitor it. That's not too bad. And this is my Philodendron giganteum. So if you think that these plants have been big so far, this is just a little baby. Wait till you see how big it gets. I'm very excited to find out, personally. All right, well, as per usual lately, I am finishing off this video in the dark, which is just proof that we are really coming up close to winter time. It's only 6 o'clock and it's already nearly dark out. Okay, let me show you what I planted. So the one thing I don't like about spring bulbs is that it is so boring to show you the finished product because it's all in the ground. But I thought it would be kind of interesting just to give you a little idea of what I'm trying to do to outsmart the squirrels. I have a bag of mulch over the area I planted, and I'm hoping that'll keep the squirrels away, and eventually I'll actually use that mulch. So I have some dahlias, I wish. I have some daffodils over here. I believe Talia is the variety, and then I have these ice cream cone tulips, and then an early tulip variety. That's all going in here. There's one more tulip variety. I forget exactly what it's called, but I didn't plant it yet, so stay tuned for that video. I'm sure I'll put it there. And I also want to show you the tropicals that I planted to get ready for winter. So come with me to my little plant nursery, which is my patio table, and I am now starting to get things prepped for next summer. I'm trying to get myself excited here because it's a sad time of the year when everything starts to get frosty, which of course we have not had our first frost yet. Everything still looks pretty good, but that will be changing soon. All right, we're making our way to the table. Here we go. And, well, actually, I took it off the table. Look at me. I was actually a little proactive here. But I started some Tradescanthias from cuttings. These are called Novak a single one of these would go for like $6 at a nursery. All you need to do is just cut a couple of branches, a couple of stems off, and put it in water for 2 or 3 weeks, and you will get roots. Easiest thing in the world to root, so I did that. So this whole little thing is going to go inside in my office very soon, which is soon going to be my plant room. I also have my hedychium gingers that barely survived last winter. This is the biggest they got this year. They were in the ground and not mulched or protected, but usually they're fine. Daniel Weeks and Fiesta are the 2 varieties here, and they barely survived the winter, but we've got lots of babies that are coming up, so I'm going to baby them and bring them inside the house. And that's it for today. So what did we do? We potted up some philodendrons that I broke off, and some of the tradescanthias. We brought in so many philodendrons. I have about 10 plants inside the house right now. I have about 100 to bring in. So 10 out of 100. And most of the big ones are still out here. Got my work cut out for me. But thank you so much, as always, for joining me on my little plant adventures. Like, comment, subscribe, talk to me. I get lonely. I really do need my plant people, the ones who understand what it is like to love plants. I can't get over, some of the comments that I see on my social media about people who aren't allowed to have plants in the house. Like, how sad is that? I mean, this is my joy in life. My life would be joyless without these little babies. I say little babies, but like some of them are actually older than me, because I got this from a friend that said it's 40 years old. So maybe not little babies, but they are pretty cool. Bye.